Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and as you can see, we're getting back to our Section 8 series. As a matter of fact, we are closing out the Section 8 series today. And coming up next Sunday, which I will go ahead and tell you the updates of what's going to be replacing the Section 8 series as we get towards the end of this video. But don't worry, I've had a new brainchild that just has not left me alone ever since the idea first presented itself. So we'll go over that right before we go ahead and close out. Now, I was originally not going to cover what I'm getting ready to cover, but just taking a look at it, it does verify and drive home again, one more time, just how quote unquote easy it apparently is, according to some, to game the system. It's almost like our current president never run a casino and doesn't know the rules that the house always wins. You would think someone like him would remember something like that, but apparently, folks, here we are. But anyways. Alright. Disclaimer, folks. Everything that we have gone over throughout the entirety of this HUD Section 8 series can be found right there inside the description box with corresponding labels. So if you would like to deep dive on this subject on your own, you should definitely be able to do so. Trigger warnings, this channel, excuse me, one second. This channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity, and we do speak on some dark subjects like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center. So if your child is 16 and younger, and they are watching this channel, parental supervision is very much advised. Alright. Other trigger warning, obviously allergies are killing me. I apologize for that in advance, and also apologize for my lack of editing skills that do not exist. Excuse me. And the political warning. If you're gung-ho MAGA, if you are on the left of the left, if you are any certain party affiliated 10 toes down, gotta tell you, I'm not. I always have been and always will be independent, and will vote for who I see fit as the individual best able to handle different policies. You get what I'm saying there. What is their track record? I don't care who your party is. I want to see your record. I'm from the show me state for a reason. I don't like platitudes. I don't like narratives. Whether it's the left or the right, please take your narratives and you know where to shove them. I care about what is your history? What are the views that are known in regards to you when it comes to policy? Foreign, when it comes to policy in regards to things like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, programs like SNAP. How well versed are you in those subjects, since apparently the good majority of the individuals right now in Congress and the Senate have absolutely no clue? Which means, more than likely, I am probably going to be saying something that is probably going to offend you. If you're unable to handle that like an adult, you probably should not be on this channel. If you're an individual who wants to throw comments at me like Trump derangement syndrome, Karen, that is not an argument. It's name calling. It's lame, and it's a cop-out. I will always support a fair debate based on facts. Ad hominem attacks because you don't know how to fight your opponent in the proper procedures of civil debate is not my problem, or the problem of anybody else that might be inside the comment section or just watching the video on their own time. If you utilize that type of behavior, I will remove you out of the comment section and I will block you from the channel. This is your only warning. Take a look around the world. Open your eyes. Nobody has time for that right now. All right? Just saying. And also in the comment section, stay on topic. Okay? I know what's going on with the news and Epstein and all of that. I follow it and watch it too. But that is not my area of expertise. It is not my wheelhouse. But that's why I watch the creators that is their wheelhouse. I cover what I know and what's my wheelhouse is. Okay? Just saying. Alright. Where we left off last Sunday. CIS appeals process. The PHA must notify the family in writing if the secondary verification process does not confirm eligible immigration status. The notice must indicate whether assistance will be delayed, denied, or terminated, and inform the family of the right to file an appeal with the CIS. Now, when they send out those denials in writing, it goes into their computer systems as well. So if you are coming in and you still don't have proper documentation, nor do you have anything that you can produce that show that you're in the process to obtaining that documentation, are you aware of what that means? It means, just like with Medicaid and Social Security, you're not going to be able to utilize the program. Quite simple. And you can't say, well, I didn't know, because they send that out through snail mail, as well as put it up on your own portal if you want to pull up their website to take a look. So, how easy is it again just to be able to slide through all these checks and balances that already exist and are already extensive? I'm not telling you it doesn't happen. What I'm telling you is it is not near on the scale that the current Republicans are trying to sell you on. I'm telling you that the margin of fraud that has managed through all the odds to actually exist in programs such as Section 8 is so minuscule, especially when you were talking about in comparison of the overall tax cuts for the billionaires that could more than cover and make up for like the small 1% that managed to buck the system. I mean, I'll say it again, folks. It's the easiest question to answer in the world. Who is going to affect the deficit amount that we owe? Who's going to be able to bring that down more? Stealing services from vulnerable people? Or making billionaires pay their own damn fair share? Which of these two actions do you think is going to bring the country the most savings? Which out of those actions do you feel would have the biggest impact on the United States' current debt? Because I gotta tell you, I'm pretty sure it's the billionaires paying their fair share. You know? this saying. HUD strongly encourages PHAs to include a copy of the verification request form. Just like I said, guys, I told you. CIS Form G845S with the notice. If the family wants to exercise the right of appeal with the CIS, the family must submit a written request for an appeal to the CIS within 30 days of the date of the PHA's notification. So as soon as you get that denial, you have 30 days to appeal the decision. If you do not act within those 30 days, you are SOL. Can tell me how easy that is? It's already difficult managing to try to get proper documentation. Most people are not going to do something that's going to require all of that effort to get a small pittance of rent off. Okay? They're going to move on to the next thing. It is too much work and hassle for a fraudster to have to work through all of that and still have to do this after a denial. Okay? Grifters grift. That is true. But within a system like this, it's set up that way for a reason. It's because by and large, if it is a fraudster that you are dealing with, they're not likely willing to go through all the channels like that. It's too much time, too much hassle. All right? Okay, let's go ahead and continue here. The family also must take the following steps. Include with the appeal request a cover letter and any support documentation as well as a copy of the verification request form, CIS Form G845S, which was submitted by PHA for secondary verification request. Provide the PHA with a copy of the Provide the PHA with a copy of the request for appeal with the CIS and proof of mailing, e.g. U.S. Postal Service certified mail, a service that provides the sender with a mailing receipt, and provide any additional documentation that the CIS may request. Within 30 days, the CIS will render its decision to the family and forward a copy of the PHA or provide notice of the reasons for any delay. So, and now we're going to look at the prorated just real quickly here before we close out for this series. All right, so a mixed family is eligible for prorated assistance. Prorated assistance means that the family will receive only a portion of the subsidy for which a fully eligible family would qualify. To put it in layman's terms, folks, that means if you have a mixed family of both legals and those who don't have their documentation yet, you may get only partially approved for those who actually within the family fit the criteria and have their citizenship or identity documentation. The individuals who do not have it that are adults. Let me make sure to say that are adults. Yeah. The proration is calculated based on the number of members who are citizens or have eligible migration status and the total number of family members. The method of prorating assistance for public housing programs is shown below. Now here they got this nice little table they set up all nice for us. So, determine the total tenant payment in accordance with the 24 CFR 5.628. So what does that mean? Annual income includes income of all family members, including any family member who is not established eligible immigration status. So even though they're not legal, since you are applying for the household, whatever income they're bringing into the house is still going to be counted. So something along the lines of tenant payment equals up to $300 in such a case. Number 2, family maximum rent is equal to the applicant flat rent for the unit size to be occupied by the family. So flat rent might be $500 after a little bit of help. Subtract the TTP from the family maximum rent. The result is the maximum subsidy for which the family could qualify if all the members were eligible. Family maximum subsidy. So you might be able to only get an additional $200. $200 that comes from HUD, and then the remainder comes from you. Now, I'm going to let you all do the math because I've told you guys before, math is not my strong suit. Divide the family maximum subsidy by number of persons in the family to determine maximum subsidy per each family member who has citizenship or eligible immigration status. Eligible family member. The subsidy per eligible family member is the member maximum subsidy. I'm going to actually tell you to not listen to anything I said in regards to that particular table because I am not good at maths, guys. Oh god, that's going to be embarrassing when somebody watches it later, but I'm still not deleting it and starting again. So, let me move on before I embarrass myself even worse. And if you go on to the next page, it completes the table for you. Alright. Delay, denial, reduction, or termination of assistance. Now, we're not going through the entirety of this document. We're going to take care of this part, and that will be it for the series on Section 8. So, without further ado, delay, denial, reduction, or termination of assistance. The PHA must not delay, reduce, or terminate assistance to an applicant or participant based on ineligible immigration status of a family member if any of the following circumstances apply. So let's go ahead and read and go over that, shall we? At least one person in the household is a U.S. citizen or an eligible non-citizen who's been verified by CIS. The family has submitted the required documents to the PHAs timely, but the primary and secondary verification processes have not been completed. The family member for whom required documents have not been submitted to the PHA has moved out. The family member who is determined not to be in an eligible immigration status following the CIS verification has moved out. The CIS appeals process has not been completed. Assistance is prorated in accordance with the types of preservation assistance available to mixed families. Assistance is prorated and family is not received assistance for the family members whose eligible immigration status has not been verified. A deferral of termination of assistance has been granted, or for a program participant, the informal hearing process is not complete. So, that would be one of the many reasons why it might happen. All right, and we are going to actually read a little bit further than I intended, apparently. Assistance must be denied or terminated when the family has not submitted the declaration of citizenship or eligible immigration status and appropriate documentation by the specified deadline or any extension. The family has submitted required documentation, but CIS primary and secondary verification do not verify eligible immigration status, and the family does not pursue the CIS appeal or informal hearing rights. Alright, the family has submitted required documentation, however, CIS primary and secondary verification Do not. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading that again. Sometimes, folks, this lettering, I'm telling you, I need to get my glasses checked again. And the family pursues CIS appeal or informal hearing rights, but the decisions are rendered against the family. Or the PHA determines that a family has knowingly permitted an ineligible person to live in the assisted unit on a permanent basis. In this case, the PHA must terminate assistance for the entire family for at least 24 months. This does not apply to an ineligible individual at issue was considered in calculating any proration of assistance provided for the family. All right, they've got a few more, but as you can see here, this is pretty clear. All the hoops non-citizens have to go through and the documentation required for them to be able to get into something like Section 8 kind of makes it damn near impossible for any illegal just showing up to be able to fraudulently get in there. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying that the percentage of individuals that do that sort of thing are usually very desperate individuals because most folks wouldn't want to spend all that time and effort, you know?